Good afternoon, good day, good evening, wherever you might be in our global viewing audience. My name is Mr. Otero, the infamous Mr. E, and I'm coming to you on a special episode of The Digital Edge, where today we're going to talk with a couple of my students in the Digital Media Technology program here at Jeff Tech in Reynoldsville, Pennsylvania, and an industry professional, a media, an icon, a media icon in our Pennsylvania
I'm just an old
region.
kid. I mean, I'm just here with the rest of everybody, so I'm
Just hanging out. It's the last few days of school. We got nothing to do but have some fun. Actually, Drew Gordon, media director, or I should say news director and community affairs.
Sports, community affairs, public services.
He's
Whatever.
locally famous.
The voice of Central Pennsylvania on a couple radio stations. I mean, very recognizable voice. But
Thanks.
Drew, introduce yourself to the audience. For those that have never seen you, now they will hear you and they'll go, "Oh yeah, that's the guy on the
Radio, yeah. Well, of course, yeah. My name is Drew Gordon. I am from First Media Radio. That's the name of the company I work for. Mostly you hear me on Q102 out of Du Bois, also on 93.1 WQIX, WZDB, WZDD, WCPA. There's 5 of them.
And Skylar's
So-
going, "That's that guy."
You say Q102, she's like, oh.
I could have gone in a completely different voice the whole time. You never would have known, huh?
Nope.
No, I didn't.
I
So
did.
we're
I
gonna
did.
have,
I'm a
we only have
fan,
a
so
few
I'm
minutes.
good.
We only have a few minutes with the AM shop, and what
you
we're
go.
going to do here, we're going to do a real quick digital workshop with 2 freshmen. Jade, why don't you, Jade and Skylar, introduce yourselves very quickly in terms of who you are and your specialty within digital media and what you're working on for your final career research project, and then we're going to have Drew give you some tips as far as being able to effectively present, and hopefully we have time to actually have Jade do her
And
piece.
then criticize us.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
so
tell us a little bit about Jade Steele and Skylar Young.
Okay, well, how about I introduce Skylar? Because
Very good, go
that's
ahead.
just more fun.
That's
This is
awesome.
Skylar.
Obviously. Sorry.
And Skylar's a freshman. And her specialty is animation. And Skylar, you did your career research on animation, right?
What kind of animation?
3D and 2D animation.
Uh-huh.
I'm just that good. Skylar, you're from Punxsy.
Yeah.
What else would you like me to say about you?
Skylar, you want to be an animator. Why?
Because.
You want to speak up, kiddo?
Whenever I first watched the Nightmare Before Christmas, I didn't know what kind of movie it was until I found out it was a stop motion animation, and I really want to do that now because it's awesome, and I want to make a movie like that.
Cool. Jade, you did your career research on what? What are we going to take a look at here if we have time to get this done today?
Graphic design. Woo.
Now, you're very interested in becoming a professional photographer.
Yes.
And this ties to the graphic design field. How?
Actually, well, the only reason I did graphic design was because you yelled at me and told me I wasn't allowed to do photography.
Okay, first off, I did not yell at you.
You
What
spoke
I did,
forcefully.
What I did was I kindly redirected your efforts
In a
from
loud
that
tone.
which it is that you are focused
Opening her
upon
mind.
In a loud
so
tone.
intently that you were blocking out other possibilities in your career pathway. So I kindly and gently reminded you that digital media realm is vast and broad, and therefore you should explore some other career pathways that might be related to photography.
That's not how I remember it, but we'll go with that. That's not how I remember it, but we will go with that.
Drew,
But yes.
why are we bringing Drew in here? Drew is an industry professional.
He's great.
He is engaged in his local community at the local theater. Drew, let's start with you.
Okay.
We're going to need a few minutes for Jade to do her piece, and we got, what time are you guys out of here? It's 11:19?
25.
What time?
25.
Okay, we got about 6 minutes. So,
We can
can you,
go late.
real quickly, very briefly,
Yes.
touching on what you've seen the girls here and what you've heard here, what advice and tips and tricks can you give them to effectively present, and hopefully we'll be able to launch into Jade's presentation here?
Well, as far as when you present, you have to have fantastic eye contact, no matter if it's person to person or into a camera. You have to address people as you need to be, addressing them. As far as speed with your vocal quality, you need to keep it nice and level. You cannot speed up. I know sometimes that's a nervous problem with some folks, that you have a tendency to speed up and you keep on talking, and it gets to the point where you can't understand it. So you have to speak clearly, not obviously over-enunciating, but you need to speak clearly so people can understand you.
Not to where it seems forced or fake. But
Right.
you want to
Right.
appear natural, but
All
enunciating your words so
Certainly.
that they're
Certainly.
clear.
And you
We have
wanna
a
make sure-
tendency in normal speech to kind of blend things together.
Well, I think it's also part of where we grow up. And basically, when we talk about, I grew up in, down outside south of Pittsburgh, so there was always lots of things in that we always threw in little idiosyncrasies from the language. But you also have to learn to speak properly and speak well to maybe kind of slide that off to the side and keep the enunciation clear.
Well, let's go ahead and get going with Jade. I want you to touch on one more thing, Drew, before we get started
Yes.
here. Speaking forcefully, speaking from down in here, projecting your voice. We saw when Skylar first talked. I'm sitting right next to her, could barely hear her. How does that bode to the audience out there? What can you say to encourage the girls here to be able to, get it out
Me?
there?
Okay,
I'm loud.
we know.
Being loud is one thing, but to keep command of it
Very
is
good.
another thing. Sometimes when you're unsure of some things, you have a tendency to slow down and kind of quiet because you're trying to think about what to talk about or, bring across next. You need to really know what you're talking about, for starters, have good eye contact and good address, and also keep your level of voice up.
Excellent.
So breathing, helps out a little bit better. Just taking your time, not speeding, not rushing, and not worrying about it.
Well, sadly, we're not going to be able to give an exact example of all this because
We
we
can
are
do
going to
it.
have to speed and rush because Jade has to get to class. But
I
let's
think
go
we can
ahead
do it.
and start the presentation here. We'll go up until the
Mystery.
final bell.
I think we can do it. I think we can do it.
You got 2 minutes, Jade. Your
Ew.
presentation's longer than that.
Well,
so
yeah,
we're going to get it
it's not.
started, and when you have to go, you have to go. And then you can come onto our YouTube channel and watch Jade's full presentation. So, Jade Steele, why don't you go ahead and take us away, and then we're going to go into the PM session with our afternoon kids with Mr. Gordon. We're going to try the same thing a little bit more in detail. Jade, go ahead.
All right. Well, I did my research on graphic design. Okay. So why did I choose graphic design? Well, I chose graphic design because I first wanted to do photography, but my instructor said I should widen my horizon. So I chose something close enough that the skills I learned while researching would also help me in the realm of photography. Graphic design has great paying jobs, you're communicated and you're around people, and a lot of the skill sets are the same as photography. What does a graphic designer do? Graphic designers create a visual concept. They design advertisements, logos, brochures, and sometimes even websites. What careers are in the realm of graphic design? You can become a marketing manager, art director, animator, and a multimedia artist. The work environment for graphic designers, some graphic designers choose to be self-employed, and then some graphic designers work as a team.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. This is a quick sample of Jade's work. You can watch her full video later on down the road here, but just for the sake of, I know she's got to go and I want her to be able to interact with you. What can you say about her presentation thus far from what you've seen? Any critique, any way that she could make it better?
Okay.
Or what she did right?
As far as addressing the topic, you knew what you were talking about. Sometimes what happens is we get tripped up by ums and uhs because you're trying to get a thought process.
I am winging this. This is the first time I've actually seen
Exactly.
my PowerPoint.
Well, if it's the first time that you've seen it, you need to get more comfortable with where you're at and what you're going to do. See, the young prospect is you're trying to think of what you need to do next.
So we're going to go ahead and pass this along to Mr. Gordon to finish up with what he saw with Jade, and then you're going to come back from our break with the PM crew where we're going to continue this process. Drew, tell us a little bit more about what she did right and how she could have, you were talking about stumbling over words.
Yes, if you get a little more familiar with what the presentation is, and she said this is the first time that she's seen it. For a first time, not too bad, but she needs to get a little more comfortable with what's there and what kind of direction she needs to go into. It shouldn't be a necessary thing to wait for the next slide.
So when you say comfortable, that's the big P word, right?
Yes.
Which is? Practice.
There you go. Just keep on doing it over and over and over again until
How
you
critical is that? I mean, even for somebody like you that's been doing this for so long,
Yeah,
you get handed a stack of materials and you're a pro, but how critical is it for you to get on there and have to practice?
Site material and just coming up with things is a difficult process. As you can see, as I'm answering your questions, I'm trying to figure out how to answer that in the right frame. If you continue to practice, if you continue to know your program, and that's anything, that is public speaking, that is going out there and getting people to be familiar with what you're doing. You have to keep on practicing. You have to be on top of your game, kind of in a way, to understand where you're going with your next direction. So practicing is very important.
What else did you see that she did right?
What she did right is she knew the aspects of what she was getting into. She was starting to talk about some different things. And even if the aspect...
she obviously did some research.
Yes,
I mean,
she did.
She
Did research. That was fantastic.
Yes.
I'd like to see, though, when she is talking about her presentation, one of the key elements is to kind of maybe go off of just what's being read there, where maybe you have the different types of jobs that are available. Go a little off of what's on that screen and get a little more detailed and make sure that you're showing that, yes, you know what you're doing.
I'm glad to hear you say that. One of the things that I talk to the kids about in my digital evangelism here and by preaching to them about how to do it right.
That's very true.
It's like, guys, the PowerPoint, the visuals, the PowerPoint is not the presentation. You are the presentation. What is coming out of your mouth? The body language, how you speak, how you present, the things that you're saying, how you're saying them, and why you're saying them. That is the content of your presentation. The PowerPoint should simply serve to reinforce what is coming out of your mouth. So you're absolutely right. We have a tendency, in the kids especially, or anybody who is not mature in their presentation skills, has a tendency to lean on the visuals and just stick to those bullet points. But how important is that sort of elaboration to really reaching your audience, Drew?
Well, you really need to have the knowledge of what's going on. In between radio jobs, to give you an example, I work for Triangle Tech, a technical school in Pennsylvania, and basically they do a PowerPoint presentation. And if we just simply read what was on the PowerPoint presentation, the kids wouldn't care. You need to have your group. Your group would not be interested whatsoever in what you have to say because they're reading it as well as you are. If you have the knowledge of what this is all about and getting into more detail and practicing what you are presenting, you have a whole bunch of different opportunities in front of you. So it's very nice.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate the insights, and we're going to go ahead and practice what we're preaching here and come back in the afternoon, meeting our afternoon crew, and we're going to put the kids out on the digital edge with a media professional, our resident guest, and volunteer for our program. Drew serves on our occupational advisory committee and does a great job helping us guide our curriculum here and mentoring our kids to hopefully be successful within the realm of digital media production. So you're watching The Digital Edge. I'm Mr. E, coming to you from the IT Academy studios in the Digital Media Technology program at Jeff Tech with my special guest, Drew Gordon, talking presentation skills and career research. We'll be back with our afternoon crew and some student presentations right after this break. Looking for a great career in high technology? Whether you want to start your own business or go on to college, the Digital Media Technology program at Jeff Tech offers the most advanced training and studio available in our region. Learn audio and video production, live web streaming, 3D animation and special effects, graphic and web design using pro software, Photoshop, Fireworks, Dreamweaver, and After Effects, InDesign, Premiere, Wirecast, and much more. Full-time and part-time enrollment options are available for high school students and even adults in our area.
These situations that I've seen here at Jeff Tech are purely hitting the college level. I mean, there are people who are waiting 4 years out of high school to go into 4 years of college to do the same things that the students here are doing right now. And so, needless to say, you want the jump start, this is the place to be.
Explore the Digital Media Technology program in the IT Academy at Jeff Tech. A whole new world of opportunity awaits you. Visit us online, dmtstudio.net. Well, apparently, we're live on the Digital Edge. My name is Mr. Sanatero, and I'm coming to you live, as I said, on the Digital Edge. And what is the Digital Edge? The Digital Edge is an educational talk show Coming to you from the IT Academy studios. Live. I said. Normally we're not live, but today we are. This is exciting. This is a regularly produced television show from the Digital Media Technology program in the IT Academy at Jeff Tech in Reynoldsville, Pennsylvania. And today, ironically enough, we're going to talk about communication skills with a very special guest over here to my far left, Mr. Drew Gordon. We'll introduce him in a second. When he speaks, you're going to know who he is. And we also have Barbara Snyder and Clayton Little with us in the studio today. This is rather exciting. So normally we produce this show and we put it up on local television and up on our website, but today we're trying something brand spanking new in that we're broadcasting live for the first time, a full television production from the studios of the IT Academy at Jeff Tech. But of course I've said that. Redundancy.
You're excited.
Not good in
too
public
excited.
presentation skills.
I don't think you said live enough.
I don't think I said live enough. And welcome to the Digital Edge live. I'm Mr. Otero, and you're watching DuBois TV. Check it out. Barb, I know you're exasperated. Here's what we got to do. I want you to sit back, because there you go. That way from the side camera angle, you're not blocking our guests. Now, what is it that we're going to do today? Drew, tell us a little bit about yourself and your interest and how you are engaged here in the Digital Media Technology program. And then we're going to explain this unique approach to educational television that we're going to try today that we've never done before. So our special guest, let's hear it everybody, Mr. Drew Gordon, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, well, as
Did
you
you call me sir?
Sir. Well,
No,
you're the authority
I get in
figure
trouble
here.
for that.
I'm dude.
Okay. Dude?
I'm not wearing my tie today.
Okay, so you're
I'm
a little more
First
casual.
time
That's
I'm
good.
live on TV and I don't got my tie.
Sideways on my face. I think you just spit sideways on my face. How did you do that?
Wow,
You must really be Italian.
I'm very Italian.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, as far as my background, I've been in broadcasting for about 25 years. And right now I'm currently at First Media radio stations, Q102, QIX, CDB, ZDD.
Say
There's
something we
five
would
of them.
recognize.
What's that?
Say something we would recognize.
No. I don't know. It could be anything. I
Like,
mean,
this is Drew Gordon. You're listening to.
Oh, okay. Today's
know,
Hot Country, Q102. I can make things up.
There you go. See, now you recognize.
Yes, just a little bit, not a whole lot.
So a media veteran.
I love him.
Yeah, done some newspaper work, television, radio, different things like that. Bounced around through a few states, did some major market radio as well. Public speaking wise, I've been doing that now for about 31 years.
But you're also engaged with the local theater too.
Yes,
So
I'm an actor and director over at the Wrights Theater, so I do a lot of work there. And also, another aside of public speaking, I'm a lay speaker in the United Methodist Church. So I actually speak in churches and basically inform folks of the gospel and different things like that. So I do a wide variety of different things as far as speaking and enjoying my time here. This is one of my favorite times, really, to come in and get to hang out with the students, find out what they're doing, what kind of situations they're getting into, what kind of futures they want to have. I like seeing that there's some sort of direction. Back when I was in high school, there was no direction. So this is kind of a passion for me, and
That's awesome.
I love it here.
Well,
I love it
we
here.
appreciate, number one, the support, and number two, your engagement, because this is how career and technical programs work. The job of the instructor of a career and technical program is not just to teach the skills that go along with the particular pathway, be it welding or digital media or cosmetology, whatever it might be. It's to connect our students with professionals in the field. The hope and goal being to get these kids jobs. And so, case in point, some of you might have been watching the Digital Edge over the past few weeks, and we did a show with a television producer, Brad Clinton.
Yes.
Has a national TV show. He's based in our region. 2 weeks later, he turned around, hired one of my seniors on co-op, and now she's going out and working for him.
Good.
Excellent.
Good.
That's what we're here to do. So, Clayton, whenever you want to make an offer here for Mr. Gordon to hire you, He can pass that to his boss, and maybe we'll go from there. So, but today the purpose and our hope and goal is that these relationships will grow over time, and we can build a workforce in our community that is using the power of digital media to continue to light up their communities and educate and inform and inspire. And that's what we're all about here. We teach web, multimedia, and information resource design. And Drew, actually, I want to thank you for your service, not only coming in here and mentoring the kids and taking part in the broadcast, but Drew also volunteers on what we call our Occupational Advisory Committee, where we work, again, with industry professionals to come in 2 times a year and help guide our program. So folks like Drew and others that are on our committee will come in and learn about what we do, the educational process, and actually advise us on setting curriculum and ordering curriculum materials and making sure that what we're teaching in the classroom is applicable in the real world. As an employer, as a manager, in an employment situation, are we teaching the kids what they need? So that said, what we're doing here with the Digital Edge, it's television. We also do a lot of radio broadcasting. We also do a lot of audio production, graphic design. This is all integrated media. Today, Drew, are the kids in the digital media technology program, do they have the prerequisite skills, do you think, that they need to succeed in your field? Clayton's saying yes.
Clayton's saying yes.
Sorry,
I'm
Barb.
going to have to agree with Clayton. Because,
Barb's like, please don't hit me.
I can't stop yawning. This is horrible.
Well, that happens. You know,
I know.
It's not your fault.
I know.
It's because it's live.
It's the silo
Live. It's live. I did notice that when you said live, there was about 3-octave pitch down. That was kind of nice. I've mentioned to you, I've mentioned to some of the other instructors here, that a lot of the things that the students are learning here are things that I picked up 3rd year college.
Interesting.
So when you stop and look at this, you know, the whole aspect and adage of technical schools for years has had a bad rap. I'm a former tech school grad myself, and when you stop and see what's here and what's available and the possibilities afterwards, you're seeing a much better situation. And you know, all the students here that are out here that are on as well, you have the jump before, you know, fellow students that are expecting to go into college.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've got it down pat. You're ready to go. And so as soon as you graduate, you have the experience, you can start going into job situations or furthering education.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your dedication to our program. Okay, so we're talking about, but we're not just talking about production skills. Now, what are we going to do today? Normally, we get together on the Digital Edge and we pair students up with professionals in the field and we do talk show format. Today, we're going to take the theory, we're going to take what we normally talk about, we're going to put it into action. This is exciting because we got a couple volunteers here who are very talented, very ambitious students, and they have been, well, they volunteered to be our test subjects. And what we're going to do is we're not going to do like a gong show kind of thing. So we don't want to ridicule. We want to encourage our students to make a great career research presentation. So what I want you to do, give a little bit of background of what we've done so far in class this year, kids, how we got to where we are today and where you are with your presentations. And then we're going to explain Drew's part in this. And we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to do year-end presentations live on the air. No pressure, guys. Before we do this, I want Drew to touch on the skills that we're going to talk about here, because we talked a lot about technical skills.
Certainly.
And we talked a lot about connecting employers with students. But we're talking about what we call soft skills. Why are these skills so important? And what are you going to lend to the conversation here to help these kids be the best they can be?
Well, basically the skills are very important. It doesn't matter if it is in a situation of public speaking. It doesn't matter if it is maybe, say, in a job interview situation. It's very simple. You have to have certain skills and certain direction that you need to do in order to be successful in anything that you do. Case in point, when you go through an interview or when you are speaking with someone, the situation is very simple. Eye contact. Whether you're talking to someone person to person, whether you're looking at a camera, you've got to keep and maintain eye contact. You cannot speak quickly. If you have a tendency to speed up, sometimes, you know, I'm from outside of Pittsburgh, so, you know, the south side Pittsburgh kind of thing kind of comes into play. Going to Gus and Yaya's, get an ice ball in that downtown. You can't. You gotta. I hear somebody over there laughing.
Yeah. What
so
he
yeah,
said.
you can identify. But the thing was, you've got to take that dialect, that Western Pennsylvania thing that does go on, and you've got to kind of put it to the side. You've got to speak a little.
So I
clearer.
can't say yuns?
Yuns is not a thing.
Yuns isn't even a thing.
Here's
It is a
Yuns.
thing. Yuns is a thing.
Here's Yuns is a big thing. Yuns guys, use guys.
Yuns.
There's a whole bunch of them. But you kind of have to put that aside, especially things when you say like, or smooth. You have to be smooth. You have to be set. You have to know what you're doing in order to get your point across. And if you don't do that, 9 times out of 10, your presentation, your interview, your meeting with someone may not go as well.
Now, you say interview in context of probably making reference to interviewing somebody on the air, right?
Interviews.
But one of the things that I pound home to the kids here is that they may never want to be on camera. They may never get a job as a broadcaster or behind the microphone. But these skills that we're going to talk about today are life skills. These are skills that are going to serve you, believe it or not, in your marriage, in your communication with your family members,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In your getting a job. You're sitting across the desk from a potential employer, right? You're going to want to sit up straight, right?
You told me not to sit
You're
up
going to want to
straight.
sit up straight, and you're going to want to look and have good eye contact and be confident, right? So these are skills the kids are going to learn. Tell us who you are, your ambitions, and a little bit about the project. We got this career research thing that you guys have been working on for 2 months now, and we're culminating in a live presentation here. Clayton, tell us who you are, your ambitions within the realm of digital media, and what we're going to see with your presentation today, and then we're going to talk with Barb.
It's been 2 months.
What did I do now?
You leaned back.
I'm leaning back. I'm so sorry.
You're
Okay.
in trouble. Garrett's
How-
gonna come in here and
is-
beat you
is
over
this-
this
Remember, this is
castle.
live now.
So this is okay right here?
Yes, that's
This
don't
is
move.
don't.
Can we?
Put your hands down there.
Wait
You're
a
probably
minute.
blocking
Dude,
something.
did you
from
just
the
freeze
camera.
me, man? He did. Look at that. Come over here. Do that again. Do that on camera. People got to see that. That's pretty cool talent. No, come on over here. Watch it. Garrett, you got this on the second
Him and his
camera.
ice powers.
Come on over here next to Gordon. And Mr. Gordon, I should say. Now, Garrett's going to freeze me. Let's do the ice powers again. And he's going to give me the. Come on, man. Do it. And then. And I know. Hey,
Now stay that way for the rest of the year.
And don't tip
And don't lean back.
this up any
Don't-
farther.
Okay, I'm sorry, Garrett. Thank you. Okay, get out of the way.
Don't move that ever.
It's not yourself. Get lost. Okay, we got to show this. Clayton Little, what's your production project on?
Okay.
You gotta love. We have so much fun here.
Clayton, I can't handle life right now.
Yes.
I'm so glad you're going first.
Are you sure we've been doing this for 2 months?
Yes.
It's been 2 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We started this. We started this process in March, kids. It's now May.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
It's
2
been
months.
2 months.
It's been a lot, but
It
you've
just
done.
doesn't seem
You've
like
done.
it.
You've done research project after research project, and you put together a bunch of different essays.
Adobe
This
stuff.
is a big, career certification. Tell us about where we came from, Clayton. But before you do that, who you are and your career aspirations.
Okay. Who I am is Clayton Little. Aspirations.
What do you want to
Well,
be?
I aspire to be the owner of my own production company
Awesome.
with not only production in audio but also video, and I want to try to mix in recording with it. I want to be a professional level recorder for musicians and stuff like that. But I'm also going to do video, so like if somebody were to need a TV show or music video produced, I'd want to be able to do that too. Maybe not personally, but in my own company.
At least be able to manage it and
Yeah.
understand how to conduct an entire production.
Yep.
Very good. Barb Snyder, you are?
First, are you?
I'm cycling through so that people can see some of the banners back there.
Oh, I thought you were looking for Clayton's banner. I was like, why don't you just open it?
Go ahead.
I don't know if my new one's even up there yet. Yeah, we made those, by the way. Don't know if anybody's looking, but
They're looking.
each one of these that's featured was made by the student on the banner.
Oh, you know what? That's actually a good point. Before we keep going here, we should let people know you're watching live. This is a revolution that's happening here in Du Bois, Pennsylvania. This is crazy. You want to really have some fun? You can jump
This is Reynoldsville.
onto our. We're in Reynoldsville. We serve Du Bois Television. We're in
Broadcast.
Reynoldsville. We serve broadcast. we
You're
serve
in Du Bois.
Brockway, Brookville.
Weird.
They might be in China. They might be watching on the internet.
Oh.
So if you're interested,
I thought this was on Du Bois TV.
and you want to learn more, you can go. Barb, tell them our website.
What?
Our website.
China1.com.
No.
DMTstudio.net, Clayton.
As
Been
in
here
Digital
for
Media
years.
Technology Studio.net. DMTstudio.net, and you can find us on Facebook as well at Jeff Tech DMT. So if you want to engage and ask us some questions, you can actually jump on our Facebook page and find us and send me a message, and it'll pop up, and we can chat.
Or
live.
comment on a YouTube video or something.
Absolutely.
Subscribe.
So, now, we've been working for a couple months, Barb. What was the scope of this career research project? What kind of things did you guys investigate, and are we going to see included in your final reports here?
We had to investigate educational aspects to get the job that we were researching. I can't think of the word there. We had to get salaries, annual salaries, hourly payments, things like that, programs we would need, and then someone else evaluated us and gave us an Adobe certification that we could take because the school approved paying for Adobe certifications for students. And then we had to do a, I can't stop saying
Oh, now you see, now you see.
It's
sinking in, it's sinking. They're learning. This is
I can't
awesome.
stop saying I feel awful.
It's exciting
there
when,
we go
when
again.
young people learn.
Shaldo, don't make me come over there.
You made me smile, Barb. You're learning that
You're
this.
welcome.
My life
Mr.
is
Walken's
now
here, we got an issue.
my life is
Walken's here, we got
now
a problem.
worthwhile.
No?
and
Okay.
fulfilled.
No.
I thought Walken came in to yell at us or something.
That's true. Usually
was
when
I
he
saying?
appears, it's
Oh, yeah.
people tremble.
We had to do a,
Oh, the biography. Like we're looking at who,
Steven
isn't that
Spielberg.
Ron Paul?
That
up
is
there?
Steven Spielberg. For
Spielberg!
the 100th time, that man is Steven Spielberg.
I was
With
gonna
the
say,
beard. He's like,
I
hey,
was gonna
Steven
say,
Spielberg.
liberty for
I was-
all.
okay.
Oh no! Wait a minute. So we
I
did
was-
we did a career profile. You were the one that didn't know what you did.
Yeah, you had no idea. That's not his fault.
I was mid-sentence. That makes me really mad.
My apologies.
Stop
Do what I
it.
do when you get interrupted.
I
start from the
tried.
beginning.
You just wouldn't stop talking long enough for me to do it.
Then talk over him.
He's too
That's hard to do.
rude.
Okay.
You
what were we-
researched a professional in the field.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Yeah. Each personally, we each
Chose our own
each
professional.
of us. We're only gonna be showing what 4 of these.
Yeah, maybe we might get two or three of them at this point, maybe one. But Barb, you talked about a chosen career pathway. Now, you guys have done career research for me before.
Yes.
What was the career pathway that you chose this year, and why?
I chose video editing and production
Okay.
because I originally wanted to do photography and
Yes,
you
you
wouldn't
did.
let me.
But this is cooler.
But this is production. This isn't even what I just said I was doing.
Yeah, it is. It's the same thing I did mine on.
Oh, jeez, you labeled it funny. Labeled it funny.
Pull it up so we can
They
see
would
Clayton's funny
fancy.
label. There's Ron Paul up there talking about production life.
Because Ron Paul was a producer.
I don't know.
No, but
Just
I
what's
did video
funny?
editing and production
He's old now.
because that was at one point my second choice in this shop, and I know for a fact that I know how to do that very well.
But let me ask you kids this. Now, one of the things that I run into whenever we do what we call project-based learning like this, guided, where we say to the kid, you pick the project, you pick how you're going to go, here's some guidelines of what you need to do to make it happen,
Yeah.
but you do it in your own style and in your own manner, your own way. And I go, okay, you pick a subject. And you go, I want to be a photographer, so I want to do research on that. It's like, well, you know what? You've done that before. Expand and open up your mind to some other possibilities. Okay, we talk about that quite a bit. Jade is here.
Jade's here.
I'm in the middle of a live TV show. I can't do anything about that right
Well,
now.
a lot of the upperclassmen did do that.
They
Because
did
we-
because I made you.
Yeah, you. But that's good though.
So did it open your mind?
It did. Doing that, there's actually a lot that I learned I didn't even know or really realize. Just
Now,
working
you,
on
originally
stuff.
you came and you wanted to be, you were audio.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing what out of this research?
Well, for one, how integrated everything is. The entire realm of digital media, it's all connected. Production with everything, web design, graphic design, everything is it's all integrated. So I think that if we were to, like you said, I came in for audio, but having an open mind and being open about everything, it made stuff easier. It made stuff a lot easier because I've been shown how to do different things than what I came here for. Although there's a lot of the kids that kind of try not to, but at the same time they don't realize how much that they're getting from everything. Like we have some freshmen that came here for something specific, like maybe web design, but then they started doing photography and found out that they had a steady hand and they could take pictures from a great angle. So we're learning different skills than maybe we would want, but I think that in the end we definitely need all of them.
That is, I have to say, number one, I would compliment you on your astute analysis there, very deep and very mature, I would say. And number two, compliment you on your communication skills. Clayton is, believe it or not, a sophomore here, and has just in the past year or so, you might have seen Clayton wearing a suit and tie and getting up here and delivering the local news on Du Bois TV. So Clayton, you've come a long way, and you're doing fine work. You'll be very successful someday, I'm sure. Barb, you went from not an unrelated field, but photography, dealing with visual images, capturing visual images in digital. You want to do that now? You're talking about video production. What kind of correlations do you see between those two different career pathways?
Well, I didn't think there were any correlations until I actually started doing the career research project. But then I found out that a lot of a video editor's job is to get their own B-roll when they need it. Most people don't provide B-roll, they provide raw footage, and then you have to edit that together. And if you need B-roll, you have to go out and take the pictures or take the extra video or find the pictures on the internet.
Using the very same skills that a photographer
that
may
a photographer
use.
would have to use.
Having to paint that picture visually. Yes. Very good. I love it. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the kids' presentations. I'm looking forward to getting the feedback of Mr. Gordon. So Drew is going to start us out a little bit here with giving us, again, some basic advice in terms of presenting in this type of format. Of course, there's different rules for radio than there are in a closed studio environment without cameras rolling than if you're standing in front of a church audience or on stage at the Wrights Theater.
Right.
But there are some basics that will apply to all. So observing these young people in their introductions here, give them a little bit of advice. Let's get it rolling, and then we're going to stop, and they're going to give their presentations that they've worked on, and then we're going to do a little bit of critique, and we're going to talk a little bit about what they did right, what they did, and what they could do better. So exciting times here on the Digital Edge live broadcast, first ever on Du Bois TV. I want to thank Mr. Walkup, by the way. Let's hear it for Mr. Walkup, our station manager, keeping this bad boy up and running and rolling behind the scenes. And
tell him what he teaches.
He teaches computer network engineering here. He's also the school's technology coordinator. And you know, this is what we're doing with Du Bois TV. You're seeing it, and it's an incredible project, serving the community. Garrett, you came back in the studio to tell me what I did wrong. Now what?
I just came in the studio.
Oh, well, welcome, young man. Come on up here.
Mr. E, what would you do without Clayton? He keeps you on track. You never would have said what Mr. Walkup teaches if he wouldn't have said something. He keeps you on track.
You know what?
That's what you're going to do when he graduates.
Matthew, welcome. Come on in, guys. Come on in the studio.
Oh.
Adam's trying to come in.
Adam doesn't want to get sucked in. He's like, he's going to make me be up on camera. I don't want to be up on camera. All right. So let's go ahead and get the ball rolling here. Again, Drew Gordon, our special guest. Give us some tips and advice before the kids do their presentation. Go ahead, Drew.
Well, you know, we started talking about eye contact, and we started talking about taking some of the different things and pushing them off to the sides, the ums, the uhs, that kind of thing. From hearing both of you speak, I have to say, you both have some very good articulation skills. That's one very good positive situation. Maintaining your volume control, because sometimes it's really easy.
I'm really good at that.
Well, you kind of go over the top, as opposed to, well, I'm just kind of here.
Sheldon.
And there's nothing
Sheldon
there.
Pierce.
Sheldon
So-
Pierce.
Oh, jeez, ouch. Oh, it's okay, Sean.
But-
She's gotten better.
She's getting better. She is.
Great.
She's
She'll
learning.
be
She's
on
a
TV
freshman.
next year. Yes,
She's,
she is.
she's a freshman. She's allowed
She's
to have
like
her,
me. She's,
her low points.
I was
It's
shy.
all right.
I was shy at one point.
Is that right now? Before we continue on, and I want we got plenty of time. We're going to be
Okay,
doing a full
good,
hour
good.
broadcast here, but as you're going through some of these techniques, these ideas and concepts, can you illustrate maybe some techniques that might help them do that? Like you mentioned, how do you? It's so difficult to retrain. How do you stop yourself from saying and like? Is it just practice? Is there a technique you've learned?
There is practice. Practice is a very important thing no matter what. So you have to learn to work on different things. I had a stumbling block kind of unlike a lot of people. While I was working in the radio industry, I was doing quite well. I was working in the major market, and I had a problem with something that was called Bell's palsy. And what that does, for those of you who don't know what Bell's palsy is, it's a shutdown of the side of the face.
Right.
And if you look closely, if I put my finger up here, but my left side uses a little more speech. I had to retrain myself to speak clearly.
Now that you say that, yeah, you're talking
Yeah,
out
if
of
you
the
look very
side of the
close,
mouth
I mean,
a
if
little
you
bit,
don't
yeah.
see it just by
I would have
looking
never
at it,
noticed.
you would never know. But if you look closely, yeah, it comes right out more out of the left side. But a lot of people have become successful over that. Greta Von Susteren and Jim Ross, if you're familiar with the WWE. But there are ways that you can you just really have to work on speaking a little more clear. And also remember to take the ums out and the likes and those catches that you normally have. And even as teens, you're going to have a whole slew of words, phrases, comments that are just going to be what your own. And you have to learn to be more on a professional standpoint and very clear. And you folks have both done that very well.
Another thing that I'd like to interject at this point, we've talked about this in previous lectures that I've given on presenting, minimizing technical jargon. It's really easy when you know what you're talking about to use technical terms that are associated with what you're talking about because you think that everybody knows it.
Right.
You know?
Very easy. And the thing that they tell you first off when you start learning to speak is you want to communicate in a way that someone who is in the third grade can understand.
You can't talk over the head of your audience.
Right.
And that's not to insult them.
No.
But, you know.
It just sometimes when you get very technical, there's a tendency to kind of, lose the audience. The audience will become uninterested because they don't know. You may know it, but they don't.
They don't know what it means.
Yes.
Right.
So even expanding on it, what it might be and what this understands is a very good
Now, you talked about volume control.
Yes.
Let's talk about that and inflection, because one of the problems that we do have, as you said, you talked about myself being, I can be very over the top and loud, and then you have other ends of the spectrum where sometimes you're just too quiet. How do you maintain what's right? How do you moderate that without coming across as monotone and,
Well, it's more of a story.
robotic?
Yeah, it's more of a,
scary.
Or
well, yeah. But it's more, you have to think in terms almost of being a storyteller. When somebody
great
sits
advice.
and reads a story, if you're reading a story to a child, you're not going to go, once upon a time there was a small child in a faraway land, and it's not going to say, and the kids are not going to be interested. So if you keep it in that aspect, and it's even a little bit of theater there, of bringing a story or bringing your presentation to life in a way that people will be interested. So the inflections are important. Speaking clearly, speaking efficiently.
So when you use the word articulation, explain
Yes.
a little bit about what that means.
Articulation.
Can that be done? Can that be overdone?
Yes, that can be overdone. And there are some people who will continuously talk like this and open their mouth so wide to make it seem
Stop that.
overabundant.
That's
Yeah.
really irritating.
So it is. It's very irritating. But also in the same realm, sliding into an old slang also is just as irritating. So you got to find that middle balance and keep working on it and keep practicing that voice. It's interesting when you do a show, like you do a theatrical show, the people who speak on a regular basis because the people who don't are very quiet. and they have to work on continuing to build up their volume. But if you have a tendency to speak a little more often, you continuously work at it through practice and development.
Okay.
So it's just a part of how you progress and getting a chance to, stand in front of a bunch of people, tell them stories, tell them jokes, read the news, whatever it is. You just have to develop your voice.
I'm going to very quickly, I wanted to jump online here and post something on our Facebook page about us being live on DuBois TV, but I don't have access on this computer, so we'll go ahead and send it out after the fact. That's okay. No big deal. Again, I think we're going to be doing much more of this, and we appreciate actually, I should plug your company, First Media, Q102's sponsorship of DuBois TV.
No, I'm just
you guys promote the heck out of us, and we promote Q102. There's a really nice partnership there. So keep listening to Drew, and he'll give you program updates as to what we're doing on DuBois Television. And if you'd like to get engaged and like to learn these digital media technologies, check us out at dmtstudio.net. We are accepting new students for next year, grades 9, 10, 11, and 12. But even more than that, we actually have a possibility of an adult student coming in next year. He's here today, helping out behind the scenes and getting learning the ropes. Thank you for coming in today, Dennis, and helping out. Hopefully, he's interested. There are opportunities for what they call it, adult integrated, was what Mrs. Bentley said.
Integrated education.
Adult integrated education, where you can actually come here full time, go through your local career link, and there's even possibilities of getting funding help for this. Coming here full time and learning the latest, greatest digital media technologies as a full time student, but not just in digital media technology. Jeff Tech in general has an incredible adult education program, and Adult Integrated is just one facet of that. So we encourage you to please, if you want to learn more about our school in general, visit us online at jefftech.us. So, that said, do we have any more advice for the kids, or can we do a presentation?
Let's do a presentation.
Excellent. Who wants to go first?
Well, mine's up and loaded.
Excellent.
So I guess I'm going first.
Very good.
With your sweet mohawk. Gotta get the,
There you
gotta get
go.
the sweet.
Very good. Okay, everybody, we give the floor. First ever live broadcast of on local television ever in our market, let alone, well, not our market, on local public. It's not public access; it's our education and government channel on local Comcast Cable Channel 19. Of course, the big dogs broadcast live all the time, WJJ and JEC.
Yeah.
So this is new. But Clayton, first time you've ever broadcast live. Clayton Little, you have the floor on the digital edge. Tell us about video production.
Okay. Well, we're still stuck on the first slide. There we go. Okay. A little bit about the entire project overall first was doing my research. I found a specific skill set as well as a lot of experience. There's later on in this presentation, there is a lot of experience information that I found on what you need, or what you should already have before you should even consider going into this kind of business.
Very good. Those are the prerequisite skills that we were talking about.
But first, just a basic skill set is, of course, a producer has to be a good businessman. You have to be able to strategize. I think that's the right. Is that the correct word?
Yeah, sure.
Strategize.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. You have to motivate everybody else that's around you. If you have no motivation for your workers, even though some of them might be able to motivate themselves, not every single one of them is going to want to, or maybe if they're having a bad day or something, you still have to be able to step in and tell them that it's a work day, because they did come in. Negotiators and creative visionaries. Creativity, I thought, was already kind of self-explanatory, but there's a lot of people that maybe think going into production that you don't need to be creative as long as somebody else has a set goal. But if you can't look at a project that somebody has for you and see overall what could be done better or what needs to be changed, then I don't really see how you could have that job in the first place. Because you can't just throw something out that's, even if it's been edited good, if something could be changed or done better, you could either A, make more money off of it, or if it was for something like let people know about either a company or something like that. If you were trying to, I can't think of the word for that. What is that word? Putting out commercials and things like that. What's that called?
Advertise?
Yeah, advertise. Yes, advertising. If you're advertising, and your advertisement isn't up to what it could be, that could be very problematic.
Very good.
And again, that's the ability to spot and deal with potential problems.
Now, you want to remember, just to give you a little advice, those people out there watching, that's your audience, not us. So you're presenting to them.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay.
Need to know. This was just kind of something I threw in here. It's a little bit about just things that I've taken from separate producers that I researched. Like Steven Spielberg himself was someone that I researched a lot about because I've enjoyed a lot of his works. He worked on The Goonies. There's a picture of him here with Harrison Ford and Clint Eastwood. He's worked with both of them on movies, including Indiana Jones and Flags of Our Fathers. But there is a need of extensive knowledge. That's all I really have up there, but what that means is you not only need, of course, a knowledge in production, but you're going to need knowledge in communication, skills with people. You're going to be able to talk to people, of course, because you have to present your idea, or if somebody presents their idea to you and you end up stuttering over yourself or not being able to talk. If it were to be somebody famous, like say you were Steven Spielberg and you were to meet Clint Eastwood, he could be your hero, but if you don't know how to talk to him, how are you going to work with him? A thorough understanding of all the creative processes of the project. That means that you need to know what's going on during the project itself, over the time that it's being created, after the time it's finished, and the overall production of the separate pieces of the project through the entire thing. The responsibility for the project continues for as long as it takes, which means that from the time that you're given your project, that somebody presents it to you, or that you yourself come up with it, you're responsible for overlooking every part of it. All the people that you've hired to work on the audio, the video, the separate pictures, the graphic design, putting grounds, all of that. You have to be able to look over everybody and be able to know what it takes for them to do their job right. Select amount of key skills. These are a little bit of closer skills that I found that maybe would elaborate better what someone personally would need. The finance for the production, which is the money. How much are you going to need to make it, and how much are you going to make off of it? Because if you can't even double your profit after you make this project because you've spent too much either going back and redoing some of it, or just overall it's taking too much money and you're not going to make anything off of it, then you need to know when to turn something down, or at least when to change it to change your budget. Excellent communication skills, which you need to be able to present. Again, I've already went over that a little bit, but it's very important. That's why it's being stated so much. You have to work well under pressure and motivate the production team. Working well under pressure would be like me sitting here next to Drew Gordon. He's a radio star. He's been doing this for a long time, and maybe somebody that listens to Q102 every day would be like, wow, it's really cool to meet this guy and stuff, but you sit here and you get all choked up. You can't be able to do that. Even though you're under pressure, you still have to be able to speak normally and keep up your tone and work well with everybody. You have to ensure compliance with regulations and the codes of practice, which means you need to be able to connect with the regulations that you've been given for the project and the place that you're working in. Because if you were to be producing a movie in, say, somewhere in Pittsburgh, and you were in a coffee house, like Starbucks or something like that, if they tell you there's certain things that you can't do, or maybe certain places you can't film, you could have some very, very bad things happen as consequences if you don't follow the directions you've been given. So your regulations and the codes of practice are very important in this. And if for those of you that don't know what codes of practice are, that would be like much what it says, the codes of practice, the knowing about what you're doing. There should already be a basic understanding of what you can and can't do before you go into the job itself.
Protocols, professional
Yeah,
protocols.
professional protocols. A little bit of qualifications are there's not. I couldn't find a list of set qualifications. I had to go around and kind of look for them, but basically you need to have an understanding of the nature of film production. And the nature of film production, of course, is understanding filmmaking itself. Because if you don't understand your job, how are you going to do it? Business and financial issues, again, you have to understand them. And
You have to be a good business person.
Yeah.
Above the bottom line.
Yeah.
Because the bottom line is always the bottom line in any business.
Exactly.
And there's not many bigger businesses than Hollywood, is there?
Nope.
Very good. I got to say, I'm very impressed, Clayton. Very nice work.
I labeled this money and such. Money to me has never really been an important thing, but it was a requirement I had to throw in here. And of course, I would need to know how much I'm gonna make anyways if I want this job. Like if I were to make minimum wage at this, it wouldn't really be a good idea to stick with it, or I'd at least have to do something else. So I also found that. And the reason it says "and such" is because here I have that you need to have experience working in the film industry. Maybe not as a producer, but you need to have film industry experience. Maybe you design websites for the film itself. Maybe you were a graphic designer for the posters. It doesn't matter. You need working experience in order to be a producer, because if you don't understand those other jobs, how are you going to overlook them and understand them? The closest I could find was, as of 2012, the median or average pay is $71,350 per year at $34.31 per hour, which I thought was pretty good. I have a couple of slides here that just say producer because it's just a little bit about production itself. Video businesses vary based on the type of videos they create, which is the difference between making music videos and making a movie. A music video is shorter, even though you might need to film for the same amount of time, it's still a shorter project itself. Whereas a movie could take years to create, you need to have different locations to look at, and they're very different aspects. So you need to understand that they vary and what you're going to do yourself as a producer. Would you want to do more movies, or would you want to do more videos, or even advertisements, stuff like commercials? Sometimes a commercial might not have any type of live action at all, but you still need to be able to go in and create your own visual effects as of the background and
Clayton, I want to stop you here for one moment. The reason being, this is great stuff, but we only have about 15 minutes left in the live broadcast. We'll have you do your entire presentation on your own and film it and get it up there where you can take as much time as you need. But I want to give Barb a few minutes here to be able to blaze through some of her first slides, and then give Drew about 5 minutes to summarize this before we cut down the live feed.
Certainly.
So is that cool with you?
Yeah.
Okay, good job though. Clayton, excellent work. Okay, we're going to go ahead and now close his presentation, and we'll finish that up. You can come in here and record that tomorrow if you wish.
No, I'm intimidated.
Okay.
Clayton was
No.
really good.
He
I'm
was really good.
intimidated. Man.
Pictures look like crap.
Yeah, it does
No,
actually.
no, it
No,
doesn't.
I did mine in an hour, remember? Because someone deleted mine. I did my entire presentation in an hour.
Well, let's see what we got here.
What?
But you're a good talker.
What was that?
Now you're talking about a different aspect, though. You are talking about video editing.
That's
so
what-
What is this person
That's
doing?
different.
I thought-
Shane, what are you doing?
I
Shane, what
was
are you
wrong.
doing?
Shane, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Shane,
Bring
open
Shane,
the
up
open up the
classroom.
There you go, buddy.
Now go on up to view and start the
He
slideshow
has to-
from the
is
beginning.
he sharing the screen in the
He is
presentation?
sharing. You can see the little
Okay.
red button
Okay.
up there.
I was
Hit
wrong though. I thought that she was going to talk about video
slideshow
production,
from the
That's
beginning.
why I was like, oh.
which does involve video.
Excellent. Let's hear it for Shane. Shane nailed it. Good job. Now, an editor can work for a producer and work on a project. So these are a little bit different
and
aspects.
like you were talking about a producer making music videos and stuff, that still kind of fits in with video editing.
And specifically, you're talking about independent and corporate video editing, which is a different animal from, a lot of different, well, actually not really. An independent producer could be working in media, in news, or entertainment.
Yeah.
But filming corporate videos is very different than working necessarily in the entertainment field. So, Barb Snyder, you have the floor. Let's get a little bit of insight from you into video editing as a digital media career pathway. And then we're going to turn it over to Drew and take us out of this special episode of The Digital Edge. Barb, you've got it.
All right, Shane,
Digital
hit
Edge,
them
live.
slides.
Okay, I chose video editing as my presentation. The job of a video editor is to put together raw B-roll footage, which is just any footage to cover up rough cuts, messed up parts of the videos that can't be replaced because there's no other footage of that portion of the video. A lot of work that video editors do is to make sure that all content's usable. Like if you're doing something for a school, if there's something in there about drugs, alcohol, fighting, anything like that, you have to cut it out. It can't be used to do anything for a school like we do here. There can't be any audio or scene jumps. Everything has to be smooth, which falls under B-roll again, or you could use transitions for that. And you have to make sure all information is correct. You don't want to be making an advertisement and have the wrong phone number or email or spell someone's name wrong in the advertisement when you're creating your video.
That's happened to us before.
Good
Because
advice.
then that falls on you.
Absolutely.
The process for a video editor is first they would receive a brief from the client, which they would give them a list, like scripts and footage labels for the different names on the, what am I looking for here? The clips, there we go. Looking for the different names on the clips. Most cameras label
So
with
we're
numbers.
organizing the content.
Yes,
and-
just
right.
organizational. Getting the raw footage. They're given the list, but then they have to get the raw footage from the client. It's always the video editor's job to go to the client and tell them that they are ready for the raw footage or they need something from them. If you don't get it from them and the job isn't done right, it falls back on you and you'll lose money having to remake the product. They have to prepare the raw footage to be put in the computer. If it needs exported into another format or moved over onto maybe from an SD card to a flash drive or from a CD to a flash drive, you'd have to do that. And you have to organize all of the content into different folders, things that you know where it's archived. And your best bet is to write that down along with how long it took the process to archive it all, just to give it to the person that's paying you to do the process. And you have to make sure that all of the content that you need, even if you're going to cut a bunch of it out, is imported into the video editing software because you never know what you're going to need. And if you finish the entire project and go back through your raw footage and find something that could have been used that was better in a scene, you're going to have to take and move the entire part of the project back to put it into the middle of the project. And you have to make sure all audio and video is synced. Most employment for video editing is in the Western United States, where the highest employment is located. I said again. I'm catching myself and it's bad.
No, that's good. You're learning. They're learning. Thank you.
A lot of it is in the bigger states like California, New York, Florida, Oregon.
Yes, Mr. Walker, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Walker. Hi.
The feed will go down exactly at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. It's now 1:51, right?
Okay, just be aware. I'm not turning
I
it
understand.
on. It will automatically go down.
Gotcha.
Okay.
We'll give it out. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. We were just informed by Mr. Walkup that the live feed will be going down at exactly 2 o'clock. So we've got about 3 minutes, Barb. I want you to do a couple more slides, and we're going to talk with Drew, and we're going to wrap this up. We'll go ahead and continue our conversation and record it. Then this whole thing will be available up online at our YouTube channel, and you can watch the video at DMT, as in Digital Media Technology, dmtstudio.net. Okay, so go ahead and continue a couple more slides and finish it up
Tell
with
me
Drew.
when you want me to
Okay,
stop.
you got it.
A video editor's annual income, what I found from, and these are from the years 2012, early censuses of income. A video editor's yearly income is around $51,300, and a camera operator's income is about $40,300 a year. For education, yeah, that's there's a lot of graphics on this one.
Well, a lot of possibilities to go to get
Yes.
to get
For-
educated.
Yeah, for education. You messed me up! What are you doing, Mr. E? I mean,
I did that Jedi
no.
mind trick thing.
Stop!
That was
Now
awesome.
I sound like a redneck.
That was awesome.
Edumacation.
Edumacation. You're going to be educated to make videos.
Anyway, for education, you have to have a bachelor's degree. So instead of just searching for schools that had programs for this that offered bachelor's degrees, I looked up the top 5 in the United States, which is the University of North Carolina School of Arts, the California Institute of the Arts, the Columbia College of Chicago, University of Southern California, and the New York University Tisch School of the Arts.
Now, when you say the best,
The top 5?
is that in terms of the comprehensiveness of their education, affordability, their
The
job
programs,
placement?
like if we, like you said, we're the only people in this area that have this kind of program,
Yes.
like this extensive kind of program
So
in the
this
area.
is unique.
These are the ones that have unique standpoints. They're the ones that the students have said that they're blown away by the programs. They've never seen
Stand out.
anything like this. When they were looking through colleges, they had the programs that stood out the most.
Very cool. Good work. And let's talk a little bit about certification for the next slide or so, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Adam Monaco actually did my certification evaluation, and he chose Adobe Premiere Pro CS6, and when he did it, he put down a bunch of stuff that he thought I couldn't do that I could actually do. So I agreed with his choice on what my certification should be, but I disagreed on what he said I was qualified for.
So, typo on there, by the way. Premiere is me.
I realized that right
okay.
as I looked.
What we had the kids do here is after the students did their preliminary career research, they were paired up with another student. That's why it says Adam Monaco chose. And what we did was we looked at the Adobe Creative Suite list of professional certifications, and another student in the class read their partner's report in the audio booth and actually read it and gave an audio presentation reading the report, recording themselves. Then they did research into which of the career pathways, the certifications offered by Adobe, would apply to this particular career pathway. So that's why Barb's saying, well, there you go. But then they also did an assessment of the skill sets. So, for instance, Adam said, did you show anything on the next slide? Go ahead and the next
Yes,
slide.
I put down everything that I thought I could do that Adam said I couldn't, which is the, there's this slide and then there's the one after it.
So in the Adobe certifications, what Barbara did is she went down through here and she found the skills that Adobe has identified as prerequisites for being able to pass the certification, and then she compared how she assessed herself with how her friend thought that she should be assessed.
Sure.
And what'd you learn through that process, Barb?
I learned that, for one thing, Adam really doesn't pay attention when I edit a video. And there are a few things in video editing that I should spend more time learning, but I did just get into video editing heavily this
Yes.
year
You'll get into
rather
that
than
more next
starting
year.
my freshman year.
Okay, we are wrapping it up. We're going to hear more from Barb and Clayton here. You guys come in tomorrow, Monday, and finish up your full presentations. DMTstudio.net. Drew, we got 4 minutes before we're killed here off of the live feed.
Sure.
Drew Gordon, tell us your impressions on these young people and their presentation skills and any advice, what they did right and what they could do better.
I have to say I'm impressed with both of you. When you do a production, any kind of public speaking whatsoever, where you use a PowerPoint presentation, a lot of common situations happen where people believe they should just read off as a prompt. That's not necessarily what a PowerPoint presentation is all about. And both of you, as far as I'm concerned, passed flying colors over the fact that you reiterated on what was there. You used it as a base, and then you took off with it and ran. And that shows, one, you know what you're talking about. Two, you've been practicing what's been going on, and that's always a key element, right? But most importantly, it shows the person who you're speaking to, whoever it may be, that you know what you're talking about. That's the key element. And when when you know what you're talking about, obviously the other people will be more tuned in to what you're doing. There was a few things like some ums and ahs, but that kind of comes with the territory sometimes. Just be careful. You're learning the aspects of trying to wipe that away and talk more professionally. And that's certainly what you guys have been doing both. So yeah, some great work there. But you know, keep on working. That's all I gotta say.
Excellent. Very good. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today to the first ever. We're making history here. Really, this is phenomenal. If you've not looked at Du Bois TV from the broader picture as to what it means for our community, you really owe it to yourself to do so and to get involved with what we're doing here. DuBoisTV.net. Our thanks to Mr. Walkup, our station manager, for making this happen. The city of Du Bois for enabling the channel to come online and helping to provide funding for that. Everybody here in the IT Academy, the three shops that make this happen: digital media technology, providing video and interactive support, Mr. Walkup, what he's doing there to manage the program, and the computer network engineering department, and our computer technology department, which handles the public service announcements that you see all over the station. Everybody, real team effort to make this happen for our community. You're watching The Digital Edge, our first ever live broadcast from the studios of the IT Academy at Jeff Tech. My name is Mr. Otero, here with Barb Snyder, Clayton Little, and our very special guest today, Drew Gordon. Mr. Gordon, thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it. Guys, thoughts from Mr. Gordon? We got about 1 minute here. Closing thoughts on what he's saying and his time coming in here today.
Well, I don't really have any closing thoughts on what you're saying. Well, yeah, thank you.
Oh, sure.
Not just for the elaboration of our skills, but just for coming in and being able to sit down here with us. I thought it was good to hear from someone with your expertise about. Well, you've been doing this for about what, 25 years?
Yeah, thereabouts.
So, yeah. But again, thank you.
Barb, did you learn something today?
I'm not gonna lie, if you would have told me everything he told me today, I probably wouldn't have listened. I probably would have just freaked out and left.
That's why I bring a guest speaker.
But
they come in and they say the same things I say, but I say it, they
I
don't
like
listen.
Drew Gordon, and I listen to him
And I
every day
don't
on
like
the radio.
you, Mr. E.
I'm
That's
not
what
saying
you're saying.
that. I'm not saying that.
Feelings.
Never mind, I'm just gonna stop talking. Every time I talk in this shop, everything goes bad. I'm just gonna stop talking.
I understand what you're saying, and I think it's great. I really do. You guys have come a long way. You really have.
It's
Great
different
job.
coming from a teacher than it is a professional that actually does it every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
No
kind of.
But he,
okay.
No offense.
he was a professional, but now since he's a teacher, he's not anymore.
No,
It's different. Completely
He's
changed.
gotten rusty. He's gotten rusty.
All right, thanks so much for tuning in. You're watching The Digital Edge, first ever live broadcast on Du Bois TV. For everybody in the IT Academy and everybody at Jeff Tech and everybody at Du Bois TV, I'm Mr. E, and we are out.
Made in China.
Outstanding.
Looking for a great career in high technology? Whether you want to start your own business or go into college, the Digital Media Technology program at Jeff Tech offers the most advanced training and studio available in our region. Learn audio and video production, live web streaming, 3D animation, and special effects. Graphic and web design using Pro software, Photoshop, Fireworks, Dreamweaver, and After Effects, InDesign, Premiere, Wirecast, and much more. Full-time and part-time enrollment options are available for high school students and even adults in our area.
These situations that I've seen here at Jeff Tech are purely hitting the college level. I mean, you know, there are people who are waiting 4 years out of high school to go into 4 years of college to do the same things that the students here are doing right now. And so, needless to say, you want the jump start, this is the place to be.
Explore the Digital Media Technology program in the IT Academy at Jeff Tech. A whole new world of opportunity awaits you. Visit us online, dmtstudio.net.